And although he's not here today, I don't believe Charlie Meadows.
Yeah.
With this 103 bill, where do we stand? What has to happen next? Timeline.
Well, H.R. 1003, the House bill that I authored, has passed the House. It's over the Senate, so it'll be heard in a Senate committee possibly next week. I don't know what their schedule is, or the week after that, probably either next week or the week after. Then it'll go to the Senate floor, and then if it passes, which it should, then it'll go to the governor. Now, I misreported a couple of places, said it didn't need the governor's signature. I was in error when I said that. It does go to the governor for his signature. The counterpart that Senator Brogdon has, Senate Joint Resolution 10, is in the same mode but coming over to the House. So it'll be heard in a committee maybe next week or the week after. It'll go to the floor, it'll pass, and it'll be done. So that's where it's at. Now, I would like to say this, because I think I meant to say this in my talk a minute ago. As some have alluded to, that this is a statement. It does have the force of law, but it doesn't do anything else, and that's been a big question I've been asked all over the country, all kinds of interviews and what have you. It doesn't cede the state of Oklahoma from the Union. It doesn't reject any monies that we're getting now. It doesn't reject any federal laws that have been passed or that we're affected by here in the state. It's a statement, and I've been characterizing it like this. I think this is a good analogy. I think it's a very good analogy. If you were a landlord and you had a tenant, and the tenant broke one of the parts of the rental agreement, for example, whether that was not paying the rent or anything else, there are things that you do to address that problem. And you eventually give notice to that rentor or that leaseor. And you give a notice. And the 10th Amendment resolution is like that. It's giving official notice to the federal government. It's the right, proper step to take first before we take some stronger action. And so it's actually real similar to a lot of things that happened back in the beginning of our country. You know, there were time and time again the Americans that lived here in our country, the patriots as we refer to them, would go and petition the British government, the king, and do it in a peaceful manner until finally, you know, things escalated to war. But that's what the 10th Amendment resolution is, the first step. Now, what are we going to do when they ignore it, which they no doubt will? We have other things that in mind, not only in this state, but we're actually talking to other legislators in other states. And as you well know, most of you, legislators in other states have already got their own ideas, and they're passing some pretty strong resolutions also. And there may be later on this year a conference of legislators that come together, and possibly even right here in Oklahoma, in Oklahoma City, to meet together to talk about what we will do as states next. So that's where the 10th Amendment resolution is.
Good question.
Thank you.
Are you expecting a lot of opposition from the governor on this resolution? And should we be calling the governor and saying, we want you to endorse this?
Yes. I'm not expecting opposition. I don't know anything about the governor's office. I haven't heard anything. But I would say now is a good time to start calling, writing, emailing, the governor's office and the Senate. And if you're willing and able to go up to the Capitol, go to the governor's office. Go up there. Don't let it intimidate you. They work for you. Remember, we're public servants. We're not your leaders. We're public servants. Go in there and tell your public servant, Brad Henry, you want him to sign that bill.
Question. I was wanting people to know that we need to call our governor and get him to endorse it. So,
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
We have sent a letter to him to tell him to sign it, but if he doesn't sign it, what's the next step? Because this guy, I know who he's supporting for president.
Well, there's the possibility of the legislature overriding his veto, but we'll just have to cross that bridge when we get there. See if we have numbers.
Is there enough votes, you think?
In the House there is, but I'm not sure there is in the Senate.
So we need to get on our Senate.
Yeah.
Yes.
You mentioned the House bill is going to the Senate. Which Senate committee is it going to so that we can get in touch with those particular senators?
I heard that just the other day, so I can remember. I think it's the Rules Committee. Is that right, Kay? Do you know that?
Judiciary.
Judiciary does.
And with regards to the Senate bill going to the House?
It'll go to the Rules Committee.
Okay, thank you.
Is there a website or something you can get that information on, like for this resolution?
Okay, safe.
OKSafe.com.
Okay,
They're on
dash.
sovereignty issues. They really have some good information.
It's okay dash safe.
Okay, yeah, it is. Thank you. It's OK-safe, and it's for Oklahoma's for sovereignty and free enterprise.
Yes.
We know the federal government lies and cheats and steals.
Yes, sir.
There's a lot of talk about not taking stimulus money. Can we explore the possibility of taking it, escrowing it, and cutting the strings?
Well,
Ignoring the strings.
we had discussion on the House floor because we had a concurrent resolution just a couple of days ago in which essentially the concurrent resolution said that the Oklahoma legislature it was kind of putting the state agencies on notice that we're going to watch what they do with this money. So we had a lot of discussion about what that really means, why we would do it, what our options are, and here's the long and short of it. Here's our federal government. We're talking about that all day long. We know how they've been operating. They passed this stimulus bill, and in the bill it says that, the monies go to the state agencies. And the only way it can be rejected is if the governor rejects it. Now, if the governor this is what it says in the bill. Of course, the bill's unconstitutional. We all understand that. So it's unconstitutional anyway. But in the bill, it says only a governor can reject the stimulus monies, and if a governor rejects it, then the state legislature can override the governor. But now, if the governor accepts it, it doesn't allow in this unconstitutional bill for the legislature to override the governor. So we had this discussion. So the money is going straight to agencies, and if you follow get in line like sheep and follow the federal government like states have been doing for a long time, then you just watch the state agencies get it and watch them spend it and not ever do anything about it, because that's the way they set it up, to bypass yet even more and to another level the Constitution and our system of checks and balances.
I would like to point out, I think what we have to do is to educate people. And people get real interested in taxes. That's why the government loves to raise our taxes, and we will never know it. And the way they do that is called inflation. And we need to explain this to people because they have printed money, printed money, printed money, printed money. Now the money that we have right now in the bank account or in our billfold is getting worth less and less every day. Until finally we're going to find out that all our money is worthless. And last night I saw them streaming across the bottom that Germany and France and all those other countries are wanting us to go to an international currency. Now, let me tell you, the best way they can raise taxes is to have inflation. And this is something that will make people really listen. If we can explain to them what has been done to us as a result of getting involved with the Federal Reserve, then they will say, whoa, wait a minute. I used to buy a can of peas for 40 cents. Now it's 92. Or whatever. And if you go to the grocery store, that food is not worth any more than it was last year. But the reason it costs more is because they have brought about their tax increase on us called inflation. And I know we've got to just educate people, and I believe that we'll be missing out unless we start making people aware of what is happening to their money.
Charles?
We have one here in the back.
Thank you. But when you have something important, send a fax. It takes no effort to punch delete on emails and you're gone. But if we can pay for the floor of their office with their paper, they either have to shut off the fax machines, which they did on the fence grass fire. We finally melted the fax machine. But it's a piece of paper. It's harder to get rid of. The phone calls, I don't think anybody ever even checks it off on a piece of paper.
I will say